I need to confess something. A hug has made me wetter than a kiss. Women have left boyfriends, cheated on lovers, and obsessed over men who never even slept with them just because of the way he hugged them. One touch, one placement of his hand, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about him. Most men hug like friends. Flat, safe, forgettable. And that's why she doesn't crave you. But the man who knows these psychological tricks, he doesn't just hug her. He imprints on her body. He makes her feel something she can't explain, but can't ignore. I'm a woman. I felt it. My friends talk about it, and your girl has probably felt it too. A hug can be innocent, or it can be the beginning of an obsession. There are 13 secrets to touching her during a hug that make her crave you. And number 9, that's the one we can't resist because it makes us crave you when you're not even there. Trick number 1, the slow draw in. Every woman can feel it instantly. The difference between a man who snatches us into a hug and the one who pulls us in slow, steady, and calm. When a man rushes, it feels desperate, almost like he's afraid we'll slip away. But when he draws us in gradually, like he already knows we'll come closer, our body softens without permission. That patience doesn't just feel confident. It feels dominant in a way that turns us on. The psychology is simple. Women are hypersensitive to pacing. Fast movements signal nervousness, fear, or neediness. Slow movements signal certainty, control, and masculine grounding. When a man doesn't rush to close the space, he communicates that he owns it. He's not asking permission. He's guiding us into his frame. That one shift changes how the hug feels entirely. I felt it myself. One guy pulled me in so fast it felt like he was clinging and my body went stiff. Another barely moved. He just placed his hand gently on my arm and let me come into him at his pace. That second hug melted me. My breath slowed, my chest opened against him, and without a single word my body said yes. Here's your rule. Never yank, never lunge. Guide. Place your hand gently. Apply calm pressure and let her body lean into yours. When you set the pace, she feels safe. And safety is what unlocks craving. Move slower than you think you should. Breathe slower than you normally do because when you slow down the moment, she'll replay it faster in her head later. And here's the part most men miss. Once she's close, where you place your hand next decides everything. Trick number 2, lower back claim. There's a reason women melt when a man's hand rests on the lower back during a hug. It doesn't feel casual. It doesn't feel friendly. It feels protective, possessive, like he's saying, you're safe with me and you're mine at the same time. That touch flips a switch inside us, and we can't hide the reaction. This psychology is primal. The lower back is a vulnerable spot. It's unguarded, exposed, close to our hips. When a man places his hand there, it taps into ancient wiring. It signals leadership and strength. It tells us you're not afraid to guide, to protect, to hold us in a way that feels masculine. Most men avoid that area and stay high on the shoulders where it feels platonic. But the ones who confidently take the lower back, they separate themselves instantly. I've experienced it more times than I'd like to admit. A man once hugged me with both arms high around my shoulders, and it felt like hugging my brother. Safe but sexless. Another man. His hand slid down, firm on my lower back, my knees nearly buckled. I thought about it hours later. It wasn't sexual in an obvious way, but it was charged, and that charge made me crave more. Here's your rule. If you want her to feel your presence, guide her lower back. Not too low, not groping, but firm and calm. That placement tells her she's with a man, not a boy. And once she feels that strength, she won't forget it. But here's the secret. Your hand placement is just the start. What you do with the timing of the hug can make her obsess even harder. Trick number 3, release delay. Most men ruin the moment without even realizing it. They hug, pat the back twice, and let go too quickly. To a woman, that feels cold, forgettable, like he couldn't wait to pull away. But the man who holds just a little longer, just 1 second past the expected release, creates a ripple effect in our mind and body that we can't ignore. Here's the psychology. Women are wired to notice subtle timing. We expect a hug to last a certain length. And when you break that rhythm, our body reacts. If you let go too soon, it feels like rejection. If you hold a little longer, it feels like desire. That extra second forces us to wonder, did he want more? Was he feeling me? Why didn't he let go right away? That question sticks, and it's the question that turns ordinary hugs into obsession. I felt it firsthand. One guy hugged me politely, let go immediately, and I never thought about it again. Another hugged me, held just long enough that I had to decide if I wanted to pull away, and I didn't. My chest stayed against his. My mind started spinning. I thought about it in the car after. I thought about it lying in bed. That pause replayed in my head like a scene on loop. Here's your rule. Don't grip, don't cling, and don't smother. Just hold a beat longer than normal, then release calmly. That slight delay will feel like an unspoken desire. She'll be the one playing it, wondering why it felt so different. And once you master timing, the next layer is even more dangerous because when your face and breath brush against her neck, her body reacts before her mind can stop it. Trick number 4, neck to cheek brush. Every woman knows this moment. The hug that feels normal until his cheek brushes against ours or his breath grazes the side of our neck. That tiny, almost accidental touch is lethal. It bypasses logic. Our body reacts before our mind can control it. A shiver down the spine, goosebumps, a sudden warmth low in the stomach. And here's the truth. We replay that moment again and again, even when we don't want to. The psychology is simple. The neck is one of the most sensitive areas on a woman's body. It's intimate, vulnerable, and charged with nerves tied to desire. Most men avoid it because they don't want to cross a line. But the man who lets his face linger close, not in a creepy way, but with calm confidence, creates tension so thick it lingers for days. That tension forces us to imagine what would have happened if he didn't pull away. And imagination is always more powerful than reality. I've lived it. A man hugged me once, cheek to cheek, nothing more. And I went home burning. I kept touching the spot on my skin where his breath had been. It was nothing, yet it felt like everything. Another man. He kept his distance. His face far, his body stiff. It felt safe but not sexy. I forgot it instantly. That's the difference. Here's your rule. Don't force it. Let your face get close naturally as you draw her in. Breathe steady. Let the warmth of your skin graze hers for just a moment. Then pull back as if nothing happened. That single brush is enough to haunt her. She'll be the one craving it again because you gave her just enough to imagine the rest. But silence can be even more powerful than touch. And the next secret proves it. Trick number 5, silent hug energy. Most men kill the moment with words. They hug and instantly say something. You smell nice. I missed you. Or worse, a nervous joke. And the second they do, the hug loses its charge. It becomes friendly, predictable, safe. But the man who hugs in silence, who just holds us without saying a word, that man makes us lose our balance because silence forces us to imagine what he's feeling. And imagination is always stronger than explanation. Here's the psychology. Women are addicted to meaning. We analyze tone, timing, words, everything. When you stay silent, you starve us of clues, and that uncertainty turns into obsession. I've been in hugs where the man said too much, and my brain shut off the moment. But the hug where he said nothing, where he just breathed slow and steady against me, my mind went wild. Is he thinking about me? Is he turned on? Does he want to kiss me? Why isn't he saying anything? That loop doesn't stop after the hug. It follows us all day. I remember one man in particular. He hugged me, didn't say a word, didn't even sigh. He just held me with calm energy. And when he finally let go, I felt robbed. I wanted to pull him back just to figure out what that silence meant. It was maddening and it made me crave him. Here's your rule. Don't fill the silence. Don't break the tension with words. Hug her, hold steady, breathe slow, and let the moment breathe. When you stop trying to explain yourself, she's the one who will explain you in her head over and over until she's hooked. But silence isn't the only trick. The way your hand moves during a hug can be even more dangerous. And the next one is something most men never think to do. Trick number 6, the shoulder slide. Most men hug like statues, arms stiff, hands frozen in place, safe, polite, forgettable. But when a man moves with intention, even in the smallest way, it changes everything. One of the most dangerous touches during a hug is when his hand slides just slightly across the top of the back or shoulder blade as he pulls away. That little movement feels deliberate. It feels like he meant it, and it sends a wave of sensation we can't shake. The psychology is simple. Women crave contrast. Stillness creates safety, but movement creates tension. A slow hand sliding across our shoulder doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like you wanted us to notice. That tiny shift transforms the hug from friendly into charged. And because it's subtle, our mind replays it, trying to decide, did he mean that? Was that just a hug or something more? I remember once a man hugged me goodbye. As he released me, his hand glided softly across my shoulder. Nothing obvious, nothing sexual, but I felt my breath catch. Hours later, I still felt it. It haunted me. Not because of what it was, but because of what it hinted at. Another man hugged me the same day, arms stiff, no movement. That one I forgot instantly. Here's your rule. Don't stay rigid. Let your hand move slowly and deliberately as you break the hug. A gentle slide across the shoulder or back as you release her tells her body the hug isn't over, even when it is. That lingering touch creates a ghost sensation that she'll keep feeling when you're gone. But the most powerful hugs don't just use movement. They combine different energies at the same time, strength and softness. And that contrast is what makes us melt. Trick number 7, contrast of firm and gentle. Every woman secretly wants both. We want to feel your strength, but we also want to feel your tenderness. Most men get it wrong by being all one or the other. Too soft and it feels weak, like you're unsure of yourself. Too firm and it feels aggressive, like you're trying to prove something. But the man who blends the two, he creates the kind of hug that makes us melt. This psychology is primal. Feminine energy thrives when it feels both safe and desired. A firm arm around the back makes us feel protected, contained. But a softer hand, maybe on the shoulder or lightly stroking the upper back, adds a layer of care and intimacy. That combination tells us you're strong enough to hold me, but soft enough not to hurt me. And that balance is addictive. I felt it firsthand. One man hugged me with all softness, barely touching me, and I felt nothing like hugging air. Another squeezed me so hard it felt like I couldn't breathe. Safe maybe, but not sexy. But the one who wrapped me firmly with one arm while letting the other hand move softly against my back. My whole body melted. My chest pressed into his without me realizing. I wanted that hug to last forever. Here's your rule. Mix your energies. Hold her steady with one arm firm and secure while letting the other hand move with subtle softness. The contrast creates tension that her body can't resolve. And tension is what keeps her craving more. But if you really want to leave her thinking about you long after the hug ends, you need to add one move that feels playful yet charged with desire. Trick number 8, the teasing squeeze. A normal hug feels flat. It's still polite and ends without leaving a mark. But when a man gives just the slightest squeeze before he lets go, firm enough to be felt, but not forceful, it sends a shock through our body. That tiny squeeze feels playful, intentional, like you wanted us to notice. And we do. We notice it more than you think. The psychology is this. Women crave contrast between comfort and tension. A steady hug feels safe, but the teasing squeeze adds unpredictability. It's a small disruption, a moment that says, this isn't just friendly. This has weight. That microshift forces us to analyze it. Why did he do that? Did he mean it? Was that just playful or was it desire? Those questions loop in our head, and the more we replay it, the more addicted we become. I felt it myself. One man hugged me politely, let go, and it was instantly forgotten. Another man squeezed me just slightly before releasing, and it haunted me. My body replayed the pressure. My mind replayed the intent. It felt like an inside secret, like he was telling me something without words. And the more subtle it was, the louder it became in my memory. Here's your rule. Don't overdo it. This isn't about crushing her or holding her hostage. It's a light squeeze, just enough to signal that you felt her and wanted her to feel it too. Done right, it leaves her body buzzing when you pull away. But here's where things get dangerous. Because the most powerful move isn't in what you give, it's in what you hold back. And that's why the next secret is the one we can't resist. Trick number 9, the break first restraint, the craving trigger. This is the one women can't resist. The hug that makes us crave you when you're not even there. It's not about holding longer, it's about letting go first before we're ready. When you break the hug while our body still wants it, it creates an ache we can't shake. That restraint doesn't push us away. It pulls us in because now we're the ones chasing what we feel was denied. The psychology is brutal. Women are wired to desire what's withheld. If you give us everything we want instantly, we enjoy it, but we don't obsess over it. But when you stop short, when you end the hug before we do, you leave us suspended in tension. That tension fuels imagination. We replay the hug, wondering why you pulled away first. Did you want us but control yourself? Did you feel the same spark we did? Why didn't you hold on longer? That questioning is the beginning of obsession. I've experienced this in the worst way. One man hugged me and let go first, even though I wanted it to last. My body leaned in, but he had already released me. I laughed it off, but inside I was spinning. I replayed it over and over. It made me want another hug. Not to give it, but to finish it. That restraint flipped the script. I wasn't in control anymore. I was craving him. Here's your rule. Always be the one to end the hug first. Not abruptly, not coldly, but with calm certainty. Pull away with confidence like you're the one setting the pace. That small act of restraint tells her body the hug isn't hers to control. It's yours. And the moment she realizes that, she won't stop thinking about you. But here's the secret most men miss. What happens after the hug can be just as powerful, and that's where the next move locks her into replaying you in her head. Trick number 10, the eye lock after release. Most men ruin the afterglow of a hug. They pull away, look down, check their phone, or mumble something awkward, and just like that, the tension dies. But the man who lets go and then locks eyes for just 1 second longer than feels comfortable, he leaves a mark that burns. That stare makes us feel like the hug didn't end. It makes us feel like he's still holding us even when his arms are gone. This psychology is primal. Eye contact is intimacy. It's vulnerability. And when paired with touch, it becomes electric. A hug without eye contact feels like a formality. A hug followed by that deliberate lingering look feels like desire. It forces us to imagine everything you're not saying out loud. Our mind rushes to fill the silence. What is he thinking? Did he feel that too? Why is he looking at me like that? Those questions haunt us. I'll never forget one man who did this. He hugged me, pulled back, but didn't look away. He held my eyes calm and steady. My stomach flipped, my chest tightened. I couldn't breathe for a second, and the moment broke only when I looked away first. That glance replayed in my head for weeks. The hug was nice, but the look that was unforgettable. Here's your rule. Don't rush to kill the tension. After you release her, hold her eyes just 1 heartbeat longer than normal. Not a stare down, not a glare, just calm, steady presence. Then let her break it. That 1 second will stick in her mind far longer than any words you could have said. But if you want to leave her body craving you long after you've walked away, there's a way to make your touch linger, literally. And that's what the next secret is all about. Trick number 11, the lingering touch exit. Most men break a hug like cutting a cord. Arms drop, contact ends, moment over, clean, sharp, forgettable. But the man who lets his hand linger for just a second as he pulls away leaves something behind. That small trailing touch across the arm, shoulder, or back feels deliberate. It feels intentional, and it doesn't disappear when the hug ends. It echoes through our body like a phantom touch. The psychology is powerful. The human body remembers sensation long after it's gone. When your hand doesn't drop immediately, but drags slightly, you create an imprint, an unfinished line that her nervous system keeps replaying. It's the same reason a whisper in the ear lingers longer than a shout. The softness, the slowness, the almost is what burns into memory. I remember one man who did this perfectly. He hugged me, let go, but as he pulled away, his hand trailed down my arm until it slipped off at my wrist. I froze. My skin tingled like he was still touching me. Hours later, I rubbed the spot on my arm, remembering it. Compare that to every other hug I had that week. Clean breaks. Nothing to remember. Gone the moment it ended. That's the difference. Here's your rule. Don't break clean. Let your hand slide slowly as you release her, trailing across her body for just a moment. Not groping, not grabbing, just lingering like you're reluctant to let go. That final touch creates a ghost of you she'll feel long after you've walked away. But the real test of a man's frame comes when others are watching, because how you hug her in public tells her and every woman around you exactly who you are. Trick number 12, public hug frame control. A private hug can spark chemistry, but a public hug can set a woman's entire perception of you. Most men shrink in public. They hug lightly, awkwardly, as if they're afraid of being seen as too bold. That kind of hug doesn't feel protective or masculine. It feels timid. But the man who hugs us confidently in front of others, that's the man who makes us feel chosen, secure, and proud to be with him. The psychology behind this is status. Women are always watching how a man carries himself in social settings. A public hug isn't just touch. It's a statement. When you wrap her with steady, unapologetic confidence in front of others, it signals that you're not ashamed of her. And more importantly, you're not ashamed of yourself. Other women notice too. And whether we admit it or not, when other women notice our man, we desire him more. It's the scarcity effect. If he's valuable to others, he becomes even more valuable to us. I remember one moment that burned into my memory. A man I was dating pulled me into a calm, confident hug at a crowded party. No rush, no nervousness. His arm rested firm on my back, his presence undeniable. I felt safe and I felt proud. I wanted everyone to see. Another time, a different guy gave me the quickest, lightest hug in front of his friends like he was embarrassed. That one cut my attraction in half. Here's your rule. Never shrink your frame in public. Hug her with the same calm confidence you would in private. Own the space. Own her presence. When other women see it, when she feels it, your value rises in her eyes instantly. But the most powerful move of all isn't even physical. It's what happens when you lean in as if you're about to whisper and then say absolutely nothing. Trick number 13, the whisper without words. Sometimes the most powerful part of a hug isn't in the touch, it's in the tension you don't release. Most men either talk too much during a hug or say nothing with no presence behind it. But the man who leans in close as if he's about to whisper something intimate and then doesn't say a word creates a storm inside of us. That silence feels louder than any sentence. It makes us crave the words that never came. The psychology is irresistible. Women are addicted to meaning, to filling in blanks. When you lean in like you're about to reveal something and then pull away in silence, you hand us a mystery we can't solve. Our mind starts racing. What was he gonna say? Did he want to confess something? Did he stop himself because it was too bold? That guessing game doesn't end when the hug does. It follows us home into our bed, into our thoughts when we least expect it. I've lived this moment. A man hugged me once, leaned in like he was about to whisper in my ear, his breath warm against my skin, and then he just pulled back. I can't explain the frustration and desire that ripped through me at the same time. I thought about it for days, replaying it, imagining a dozen different things he might have said. That silence turned into obsession. Here's your rule. Create space for her imagination. Lean close like you're about to whisper. Let your breath linger near her ear and then say nothing. Pull back with calm certainty as if you didn't even need to speak. That unspoken moment will replay louder in her mind than any words ever could. And now that you've seen all 13 secrets tricks, here's the truth. It was never just about the hug. It's about the frame, the restraint, the masculine presence that turns even the smallest touch into something unforgettable. Now you see the truth. It was never just about the hug. It was never about tricks or lines or clever moves. It's about energy, presence, frame. Every one of these 13 secret tricks works because it taps into something deeper than touch. The slow drawn isn't about moving slow. It's about showing you don't rush, you don't chase. The hand on the lower back isn't about placement. It's about claiming space with calm authority. The release delay, the cheek brush, the silence, every one of them works because it shows restraint. It shows control. It shows that you're not desperate for her. You're directing the moment. And that's what women crave. Not another man who hugs like a friend, flat and forgettable. Not another man who clings too long, begging with his body. But a man who hugs like he leads. Who knows when to hold, when to release, and when to let silence do the talking. A man who leaves her body wanting more. Not because he gave everything away, but because he held something back. Here's what most men never understand. Obsession doesn't come from giving a woman everything. It comes from leaving her with something unfinished and unanswered question tension she has to resolve on her own. That's why the lingering touch, the eye lock, the whisper without words are so lethal. They force her to imagine the rest. And imagination is what makes her crave you when you're not even there. Masculine energy doesn't chase. It doesn't cling. It doesn't over-explain. Masculine energy attracts by creating gravity, by being still while she spins, by being calm while she guesses, by making her feel safe while still making her body burn. And here's the obsession, regret, tension you need to understand. If she ever walks away, she won't forget you. She'll forget the men who hugged too quickly. She'll forget the ones who clung too long, but she won't forget the man who hugged her like this. She'll replay it, she'll miss it. And she'll regret losing it because no other man will touch her the way you did. Not with his arms, but with his frame. So the next time you hug her, remember it's not just a hug. It's a psychological imprint. It's a test of presence. It's the moment where you stop being just another guy in her life and start being the man she can't stop craving. You've just learned secrets most women will never admit out loud. And now you know why some hugs get forgotten instantly and why others get replayed in her mind for weeks. I'll tell you the truth. We talk about it with our friends in private. We whisper about the guy whose hug made us crave him without even knowing.